Welcome back to Empowerment Radio, and we are talking about aging and the fear of aging and how to overcome it and how to embrace, no matter how old we are, at all times. In some ways, it is just a different phase, right? When you remember how it felt when you were just entering school. I remember when I went to kindergarten and the first day was horrible. Being ripped away from my mom and from my home, and how I usually just played in the woods, in the garden, in the Black Forest, and now all of a sudden I have to go into a place where all these other kids are running around and screaming, and it was a Catholic kindergarten, so there were all these nuns also there that scared me, so it was a different phase, and lo and behold, I adjusted, I enjoyed it, and when I had to leave kindergarten, I cried because, after a couple of years I had to go to school, and it was hard to leave that wonderful place that I just had grown into. And so we do go through these different phases in life. At the beginning we don't embrace a change. At the beginning we are resisting or struggling with it, and if we would know that actually it is enjoyable, we just have to be flexible, we just have to be a little open, we just have to look for the things that really bring us more learnings and joy, and trust in ourselves that we can handle it and that we can learn to have fun with it. Now, when you look back on how many different stages of changes, of life changes you went through, going to school, to college, having your first job, maybe getting married, maybe having children, all of those changes, and you were able to handle them. And you were able to go through them, and you were able to enjoy them and make the best out of them. You have a lot under your belt. And so you will also be able to deal with that next change, that natural change in life that is about just getting older and owning that. So it's something that I find also we probably already have all the skills and all the resources to know how to deal with it, but maybe we don't trust ourselves enough. Maybe because there is so much stereotypes or so much negative association with getting older, we have a hard time to really find peace with it. Now, fun fact, when you're stressing out about aging and when you are creating fear, you are actually aging faster than when you are relaxed. And the reason is in our DNA, in our chromosomes. Part of why the body is aging is that the length of our chromosomes are actually shrinking. They are becoming smaller, and that has to do with an enzyme. And that enzyme, which is called telomerase, is usually building up again our chromosome and reinstating them to the normal length. Now, as we get older, there is a shortage in this enzyme. Doesn't really work that well. It's not as active, and so the chromosomes don't really get built up the way they used to. Now, when we get stressed and when we're anxious, we also block the production of this enzyme. And so the chromosomes once again don't get renewed. And so we are getting older faster through worrying about it. So relax. Try to see this, what we talk about today, also as an opportunity to look for the bright side about all of those different stages in life. And so I want to talk about opportunities. What are the actual opportunities about being older? Again, there are these things that you may let go of, that you're not as engaged physically, or maybe you're not as fast, or maybe you're not as appearing strong or powerful, and all this kind of things. But what is it actually what you're gaining? Well, one thing that I feel I'm gaining as I'm getting older is this sense of ownership. It's like an ownership over your life. It's this feeling of, I don't need to necessarily prove myself or do things that others expect me to do just because I want to be liked or fit in. There is more a sense of life is precious, and I want to make sure that I do and make the best out of it. Now, if you had, for example, let's say $11,000 and you only have $11,000 and that has to last you for the rest of your life. what would you do with these $11,000? Would you just gamble them away? Would you just do nothing with it, squander it? Or would you really think about, what am I going to do with this dollar? How can I get the most out of that dollar? How can I really enjoy the money that I have? I'm sure you would do that, because you would just know there is this limited amount and I want to gain the most benefit from it. Well, if you are about 55 and you are thinking about average, could be 85, how long you're going to live, you have about 10 to 11,000 days left. So when you think about those 10 or 11,000 days, why not taking ownership? Why not saying, well, this is my life now. I have gone through the phase of proving, pleasing, being the one who is just trying to, accomplish something, be someone. But now is a time for me to really savor what I have been accomplishing, or savor what I have been learning, and savor those 11,000 days that are left to the best. And so I give a frick on what other people are thinking, because it's my life and I'm gonna take ownership over it. So that is a freedom that I feel we can really gain from getting older and seeing there is a finish line somewhere far out there. And I have to go there, but on the way, I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna enjoy it. Now, another opportunity of getting older is also that you just change your attitude. Isn't it true that we all have been going through a lot, and we have experienced a lot, and we have learned a lot? And so sometimes you can see maybe there are people that are freaking out, or that are not having necessarily all those experiences under their belt, and we can just be calmer, and we can just see the higher perspective, and we can just see things more for what they can be or what they probably will turn out, than losing our heads and freaking out. So there is this also more centeredness, and this feeling, yes, we went through many seasons, spring, summer, fall, and winter, and it's all just at some point coming out of the darkness back to the light, from the valley back to the mountain, from the night back to the day. It all goes in those cycles, and you just can more trust in it and be more relaxed. And that is something also that I find is a gift, and a gift that you can certainly pass on to others. Then there is also the opportunity to be more focused on what truly matters. You get your priorities straight. You don't necessarily sweat the small stuff, but you're looking more at those important things, like, for example, your relationships, your love, the things that give you peace of mind. Maybe this is the time also where you are interested about introspection, looking to develop yourself or your spiritual path. Maybe this is a time where you actually are feeling like, okay, I am growing up. I have to read to you this nice little quote of Maya Angelou. She said, most people don't grow up. Most people age. They find parking spaces, honor their credit cards, get married, have children, and call that maturity. But what it is, it's just aging. So what if we could gain that awareness of growing up and growing into our truth? Really owning, this is who I am, independent of these expectations or roles we used to play, or maybe images that we used to carry. That's another opportunity. And then final opportunity I want to share is so important. Be the teacher. A neighbor of mine told me that she just retired, and she used to be a teacher in a school, and she certainly learned a lot during her years. She was someone who, went through it all, and as soon as she retired, she kind of left. And nobody asked her, hey, what can you really share with us? What is it what you would like to, teach us about how to be a good teacher and how to be more effective? And she said, unfortunately, her successors will just have to repeat the same mistakes over and over again, because they are not necessarily interested in hearing about her wisdom and what she has experienced through all those years. So don't let yourself, like my neighbor, just be pushed aside. Stand up as a teacher. You are in that phase as you're getting older where it's your sacred opportunity and I believe obligation just to also share, just like those people that turn 100 and more, what it is, what you have learned about life, so that those after you can also just maybe excel faster and just go beyond that, what you have achieved. So take that role of sharing your wisdom and your insights serious. Well, more opportunities and more things we can do right after the break, so stay tuned and I will be right back.